So I came into this game with a completely different objective than what this video actually turned out to be. I wanted to watch the Lakers initially and just see how they've been playing so far, because admittedly, I've kind of checked out of their season, but I realized I probably can't do that if I want to continue to be an analyst. So I'm tuning into some games every now and then, but frankly, this game turned away from how I wanted to see the Lakers perform and kind of went into the direction of I kind of like rebuilding teams now, and more so the Spurs specifically. So let me talk about them for a quick sec, because this overarching video, I think I want to make it about Dejounte, but you cannot talk about Dejounte without talking about the Spurs. So let's talk about the Spurs for a second. So naturally, I think that rebuilding teams are kind of hard to watch, and I don't think I'm alone in that sentiment. I think there are a lot of people that feel the exact same way as I do, but I think where we all like kind of split apart is how we go about, you know, attacking that mindset. So you have a couple options. You could either just say, I'm not going to watch this team ever until they get good, until they're done rebuilding, or you can stick around with the ride if you're a fan of that team. Or there's a third option where you're outside of the organization, you have no personal attachment, but you kind of want to see the long game. That's where I am right now. With the Spurs specifically, I really like the thing that they got going on right now. I love that Dejounte Murray has turned into the guy for this team. And I love that, you know, the addition of Keldon Johnson and getting Jakob Poeltl these are all good moves for a team that wants to be able to win in the kind of near future. And, you know, part of me wanting to see the long game is watching some games in the middle, right? During this rebuilding and struggle period. There are stretches during these games where you realize how, I don't want to say how far away they are from their goal, but there are just a lot of silly mistakes that playoff teams just don't make. And you really see that contrast between, you know, a team like the Spurs and a team like the Suns, completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And then on the flip side for the Spurs, you have stretches where they look like a playoff team. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I have been watching Spurs games all season long. That is a bold-faced lie. What I can tell you though is I believe I've only watched 2 other Spurs games this season. They have these stretches during these games that tell you exactly what this team's identity is going to be. And I think part of the Spurs is a franchise, I guess you could say, that has been predicated on ball movement. Surprise, the San Antonio Spurs this year, even with a rebuilding roster and a bunch of young talent, are first in the league in assists. Everyone on this team scored. Every single person that played in this game for San Antonio scored, and they all had at least 3 shot attempts. So that tells me this is a team that, you know, whether or not it's because they don't have as many lethal offensive tools or not, this is a team that passes the ball around. And I think a majority of it, now that I'm thinking about it, is, you know, philosophy. Pop is still there. Pop loves ball movement. He knows that's what wins games. The lack of talent is what's holding them back from getting those dubs, but he's instilling a really good mindset in these players, in that one player doesn't necessarily have to take over from the start of the game. Get everyone involved early. Get everyone going early, so that by the time the end of the game comes, you're not relying on a player who hasn't taken a single shot to make a big shot. And the Spurs are doing a good job at that, especially closing out games. I think this game in particular against the Lakers, I was impressed with how they closed out in the last 5 minutes. And they were just, they were playing with a different poise. You know, early in the game, they were making a lot of silly mistakes. There were a lot of turnovers. One of the cameras actually caught Pop's face. I think it was Doug McDermott had thrown or overthrown someone, and the camera panned over to Popovich, and he's just looking at you like, you're really doing that, huh? But the good thing is, it looks like these players are allowed to make mistakes, and they're allowed to learn from that. And that's the part that I'm really excited about for the Spurs, because they're going to head into the phase after the rebuild where they feel like they are a playoff team. They're going to make the push or try to make the push, and they're already going to have these good habits. They're being taught right now that while we're not specifically playing for anything except maybe a play-in spot, let's iron out all the kinks right now, so that when we are ready, we don't have to get ready and waste any time in our window. Spurs are doing a great job at that, and I really, really appreciate the direction that this team is going in. But yeah, I want to talk about the way they closed out the game tonight, I think was really, really impressive. They were making really strong, decisive movements on both ends of the floor. It's stuff like that. And then on the other side of the ball, they're running good offense. They're making moves to the paint. They're trying to get a good quality shot up. Dejounte Murray did settle for a couple mid-ranges, but I think you're happy with him taking those shots, especially if he's not, you know, trying to rain them down from 3. I think he went 1 for 5 from the arc tonight. Regardless, the team was under control in the last 5 minutes of this game, and that, I think, is one of the better signs that this team is headed on the absolute right direction. If you can keep a group of young people in control under pressure while they're not playing for any big stakes, it's gonna bode so well for your aspirations to be a very strong playoff team. But was it all circumstantial? And this is, do not get me wrong, this is a question of pure curiosity. You know, the way that they close out this game, is this normal for the Spurs? Is this something that they have done all season long and just end up having a lot of 1 to 2 to 5 point losses here and there? Just let me know so I can talk about this team correctly, because I wanna make sure that they're getting the right recognition that they deserve. Right now they're, what, 2 games? I wanna say? They're 2.5 games out of the play-in right now. So could they make a push? It's possible, but we'll see. Now let's talk about Dejounte Murray for a second, because he is truly, truly special. He finished the game tonight with 26 points, 10 boards, and 8 assists on 12 of 20 shooting. So yeah, he has gotten better quite literally every single year of his career. On the screen right now is his first 5 years of his career. You see in a majority of the statistical categories, either the number of attempts or the efficiency or just the sheer amount of whatever that stat is has just gone up. His point per game went from like what, 3 to 7 or 8 or something like that. But you get the idea, right? He has had such a desired progression for a rebuilding point guard, and the Spurs made the absolute right choice in getting him because he fills needs on both ends of the floor. He's the league leader in steals right now. I believe he's averaging 2, or at this point over 2 a game, because he's had 6 steals in his last 2 games. You can tell that he wants to get better, because when DeMar left, you're wondering where the playmaking is going to come from. They give the ball to Dejounte Murray. He shows off what he's been learning from DeMar for the past 2 seasons, and he's averaging 9 assists a game, right? Is that a case of just having the ball always in your hands? It's quite possible. Again, I don't know. But all we know right now is that this 5th-year point guard who came into the league as a defensive-minded guard stopper is now averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists on splits that you would want to be better, but for at this point, get the shots up, see them fall, get better at making them drop. And that's what you're really asking for from Dejounte Murray. And defensively, I think I need to iterate this point clearly. I love defensive players. Straight up. The Ben Simmonses of the world, the Marcus Smarts of the world, the Al Horfords of the world even. People that take not necessarily just getting steals and blocks and calling it defense, but also being able to stand your ground in front of your opponent. Making sure that you're able to be a stopper. And that is what Dejounte Murray has become. Not only a man who is known for getting a high amount of steals, just a guy who knows how to play the passing lanes, but someone who just has a natural knack for finding the ball and staying in front of the ball, because he's quick. His lateral quickness is great. He's got super long arms and just a long frame in general. He's 6'4", he's got a good build, he's quick, he's fast, he can move, he's got decent strength for his specific frame, and his defensive IQ is just increasing every single year. And then that's where you look at, the amount of steals that he's getting, because these aren't steals that are just standing alone. These aren't steals that are just coming from the passing lanes. These are steals that are coming from on ball. I saw him pluck Russell Westbrook earlier this game so easy. It's almost as if he just expects to get it. Part of me, a lot of me even, in the Dejounte Murray part of my basketball heart, is super, super excited for where he's gonna keep on going. Because I do believe that Dejounte Murray is gonna have a long career. I do believe that he will continue to be a multiple-time All-Star, and I do think he's gonna make an All-NBA team one year. He's already made all defensive teams. He's taking strides every single season of his career, and only getting better. The sky is the limit for him, and because the sky is the limit for him, the Spurs now have a higher ceiling. Now it's just a matter of developing that talent. This is a lot of brand new fandom talking right now. Again, Spurs fans, if you're watching this video, please just let me know what you think about what I said. Am I too far off base with what I think this team could be? I want you guys to let me know, because you're the true experts on this squad, not me. But yeah, other than that, thank you for sticking through another episode of Raw Thoughts. I will talk to everyone, not tomorrow actually. There is a big video coming out on March 10th. It is episode 2 of MVP Case. Still not giving out who it is gonna be on, but I'm sure a lot of people are gonna guess correctly. I don't know, but that'll be it on Thursday. So subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed, and stick around for that MVP Case video. I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.